Gonna try something new today as I rip through our shakedown stories. Let's see if you notice. First, World Rally Championship at Monte Carlo. Loeb Citroen won again. A wow for Mini's finish, and a WTF for Ford's lead driver, Latvala. All of which I compared to the American football NFL playoff games of yesterday. Next, race car branding gone wild in Le Mans racing. Remember those Girls Gone Wild videos? Attention-deprived Bambis doing anything to get noticed. Well, in its place, we've got branding gone wild with Lotus and Morgan in Le Mans racing. Attention-deprived brands doing anything except actual engineering for them to get noticed. And I want your opinion about all that. Number 3, I'm heading to Daytona for the 24-hour race and the Grand Am season start. On the other side of the American sports car scene, we have the American Le Mans Series, starting later in March in Sebring. And I realize these two series are as philosophically opposed as the two political parties fighting for the 2012 presidency of the United States. I'll try to stay politically agnostic as I explain my opinion about all that, but again, I really want yours. Kimi tests the Lotus F1 without the now illegal front brake, anti-dive suspension system. And in NASCAR, the Busch brothers prove they are monsters after all. Well, only because no one's invented the dick energy drinks. This is Shakedown. You know why I like WRC? The series has a shakedown at every rally. Loeb won his 6th Monte Carlo and took maximum points. Loeb claimed the 25 points for the victory, plus 3 more bonus points for winning the event-closing power stage. That's a made-for-TV stage, but it's still real rally action. Loeb entered that stage a 5.16-kilometer distance with a lead of 2 minutes 41 seconds plus. After completing the challenge with 0 problems, victory was his, powering Loeb toward his 9th WRC title. Great start. He might have had a fight on his hands when rival Jari Matti Latvala used a brilliant tire choice amid changing weather conditions on day 1 to shoot into a half-minute lead. But then Latvala rolled his Ford and his first place was gone all in day 1. Loeb's Citroen was left alone in front of the field and he pulled away and was really never challenged. Danny Sordo finished 2nd in his mini John Cooper Works WRC car. The first podium on this legendary event for Mini since it took P1 in 1967 with a Cooper S. Peter Solberg in a Ford Fiesta got P3, the final podium spot, on his return to the Ford team after being away from that brand for more than 10 years. The other news was the Volkswagen team. Sebastian Ogier, driving a Skoda in the S2000 class, the lesser powered, lower category cars, prepping the Volkswagen team for their Polo R debut in 2014. Still, in the early stages of tough conditions, he raced up to 4th overall versus the more powerful WRC cars and was in 6th by stage 10, but had a 160-kilometer crash and was out. The Navigator was roughed up a bit, but they're all good for the next rally, which will be Sweden. Now, why do I think the NFL playoffs from yesterday are like the World Rally Championship? Well, at Monte Carlo, the best prep team won. And when it was time to deliver, some teams, like Latvala, not so much. You know, on YouTube, on the Best of Rally Live, there are some great videos. We can't show them here, but you gotta go check them out. The action was really, really great. All right, changing gears to branding integrity gone bad. We all know about Red Bull and Infiniti and that deal, and Lotus F1, they kind of bought their way into that branding. Well, Lotus is at it again. There's a Lotus Judd LMP2 car that was just announced. Not this car, this chassis they were gonna build, now it's gonna be just a Lola chassis. And the engine, it ain't a Lotus engine, it's really just this Judd motor, which was branded BMW yesterday. It gets worse. Morgan announced they're going to go racing Le Mans as well. And they are doing it with this partnership with Pescarolo, really just rebranding that chassis. Speaking of race car branding, big news tomorrow, Tuesday. We're going to watch for the announcement of the Ford Fusion NASCAR race car. This is the teaser shot that's out there and all that's out there. But we're all hoping that it'll be more than just a logo slap and it'll be a real race car. There's actually some fender flare stuff going on there, so maybe it will look like that Fusion they showed in Detroit. And I'm hoping it's going to be as good as the new Aussie V8 cars, their car of the future, which they're starting to show. Okay, Grand Am versus American Le Mans race. We're going down to the first Grand Am race down at Daytona. But I think there's a philosophical difference between these two series. Grand Am talks about being for the common racer, but really, it's rich guys driving around. ALMS Democratically, they say they're for the fans, but it's really all about technology and manufacturers. One is talking green, one's talking pure horsepower. Grand Am has new brands coming. ALMS is promising 2 new brands. And they got nicked a little bit because Rebellion Lola, with their Toyota Power, promised to be looking at American Le Mans. They're staying in Europe in the WEC. But like I said, these two are philosophically opposed, and it's much like the politics of 2012. We're fighting for a president. I have a feeling Grand Am and ALMS are fighting for sports car superiority. I want to know what you think about those 2 brands. And remember that analogy I mentioned about NFL playoffs? Well, I watched the games. I grew up in Boston. I'm a New England Patriots fan. And the goddamn Giants, they're going to Super Bowl II, which reminds me, Derek, get in here.
So what's your issue here, Leo?
Okay, you Giants, you kind of ruin everything. We've got the best quarterback. They're back in the Super Bowl, and you guys have to come back again.
Right, and we're gonna win again. We're gonna do, even though we don't have David Tyree anymore, we're gonna do it with Victor Cruz, something similar to this. I feel as if maybe we should have some sort of bet or wager here. Shakedown versus FLD, Giants versus New England.
I think we got to go there, and he's the guy that needs to be put in his place. Like, what's that alleged elite quarterback you got running around?
Alleged elite?
Alleged elite.
Can't spell elite without Eli.
Oh, we're gonna have a duel here. You need to tell us what you think.
Yeah, commenters, let us know what I should do if the Patriots win and what Leo should do if the Giants win. Maybe Leo, you should just start off by wearing one of these.
Yeah, let me see how it goes. Okay, there we go.